So next we need to install the LAMP stack. So we already have launched or installed from our or in our instance the CentOS, because this is already a CentOS 7 operating system. So we are the remaining part of the LAMP stack is the Apache, I believe. Let me check here. Let me show you. So LAMP, so this is Linux and Apache, Apache, MariaDB or MySQL. PHP. So we're done here. So the next part is to install this Apache. But first, of course, we need to prepare our OS to install other packages. So we need to first install a few tools like Nano, wget, so we can download and everything else. So just follow along. So if you're not familiar with this, just follow along. I do have a notes that I've prepared earlier. So here, I've organized everything to so that we can do this without errors, hopefully. So here, this is the one. So first, of course, this is actually my personal preference only when I logged in. And if you're familiar with my course here, my free course, I always set up my server whenever I access a new server. I always log in as root. I don't operate as a sudo user. But if you're a beginner, it's recommended that you use a sudo user, which a sudo user is something like you need to add a command sudo. It's not the administrator, the full administrator, the administrator of the server, but you can actually just search for that to learn more. So let's just log in as root, and next, of course, I change the password of the root. So we change that so that we can have access to the root um, for us personally. So let's clear the screen running the clear command here. Just enter that, type clear, and then just enter that to clear the screen. But if you scroll up, all the commands that you've done is just there. The only thing the clear does is it clears the screen for you so that you can operate from a clean slate or in a clean slate. So as you can see. So next is we install um, tools for CentOS so that we will be using, which is a Nano. The screen is my personal tool that I use most of the time when I'm updating an OS. wget is a tool to download files from external sites, and zip, of course, to zip and unzip. Vim is another editing tool on your server via SSH. Um, Nano is an alternative which is easier for me. I'm not sure with you, but this is um this is what I'm used to, the Nano. It's just something like a notepad. So let's do that. So yum is the command to do such things within CentOS. And this -y, by the way, is it's a permission to say yes to all the prompts when you're installing something. So if you don't add this -y, uh, when um, when there's a running operation, once if they ask you for a yes or no question, you will have to answer that. But if you add -y, it will automatically um, it will permit them to accept the yes answer from you. Uh, yeah, that's it. So let's enter that. And by the way, guys, if you're not familiar with Bitwise SSH client, um, when you right click or when you, let's say for example, if you copy this, you select a context or content from your SSH console using Bitwise, it will automatically copy. And to paste that, you just need to right click. It's a very simple SSH client. And you can also, by the way, open an FTP if you want to upload anything. Um, it's something like an FTP, a FileZilla, if you're familiar with that. So you can do that within Bitwise SSH. And also, I believe there's more tools here. You can just explore that. But this is the SSH client that I use. There's also another one, but this is the easiest one that I've encountered. So we're done with installing. So let's clear the screen once again with a clear command. So the next one is, of course, to update our OS, which is with this command. So let's go ahead and do that. But first, I want to use screen. So you can search more about the screen. Just search on Google how it works, but um, I'm not going to explain to you here, but just follow along if you want to. Enter screen and then paste your command and then enter. So this will take some time. So I'm going to detach my screen for this running operation. So just click on CTRL AD. Okay. So if you haven't catch that, just CTRL plus AD in your keyboard. It will detach the screen so that we can manage another things from our main screen. So as you can see, it's detached. So now we can continue on the others. So let me set up my host name here. I want to set up my host name for all my servers so it doesn't show this IP here, this ugly name here. I want to set a name for my server, which is my domain. So the domain or the main domain that I want to use for this instance. So let's exit on this and or maybe reboot, just reboot the instance. enter. Exit that one, and then let's just wait for it to reconnect. So you would be able to see here from the SSH client, which is Bitwise, when it's already connected. Also here, this is the verbose console. So connecting with automatic reconnection. So now authentication completed. So it's now rebooted. So we can now open the terminal console once again. So as you can see, it's now the host name that we've changed earlier. So let's go back and log in as root. This is the command. Let's clear the screen. So as you can see, it's now better. It's showing as my username. So let's move forward to um, the next step. So we've done this already. So by the way, guys, if you're concerned with the commands, don't worry. I will add all of these commands in the on my blog. The link will be in the description. So just check it out if you want to follow along, which is hopefully you do, so that you can have an understanding while you follow along. So the next thing is to install Apache. But of course, before we do, let's probably check our screen, which we have run earlier. So let's go back to our screen by this command. Sorry guys, when we rebooted, by the way, when we rebooted our server, probably the screen that was operating earlier got interrupted, which is not what I want you to do. So probably just avoid rebooting if you know that you're running an operation via screen or anything within your main console. So we will we will need to run again the OS update within the screen. So let's do that by running the command update Y. So I'm in a new screen here because the screen may have been um, interrupted because of the reboot that we did earlier. So let's do that. And I believe it's already done. So maybe when we rebooted, the update has been completed, which is lucky for us. But I would suggest you don't reboot while you're running an operation, especially when it takes longer than expected. So if you reboot, it will be interrupted and it might break your server. So I'm sorry for that when I asked you to reboot your server in case you're following along. But in my case, it didn't break my server, so we can now continue on. And I believe it has been completed when I rebooted, so that's lucky for us. So we are now ready to exit the screen by pressing CTRL-D. So that's how you can terminate the screen. So let's clear the console and let's move forward to installing Apache here with this command. I've prepared this earlier. So the next part complete. Now we need to start Apache and enable when our server boots. So that's the command. And let's see if our Apache is running um, perfectly. So as you can see, it's active. So we don't have any issues. There's no any issues right here. So we can now proceed to, of course, the other command. So just in case, guys, I added a command here to check the status of Apache because just in case it doesn't work for you, let's say it's dead or not running, you don't see any active running, this green text here, I did added a troubleshooting for you. So you can just follow along with this. Just run this commands here in case you get an issue, or else I would suggest you open a thread on my community, the community forum, so that I can assist you if you get stuck all throughout this tutorial. So here is a command to automatically edit the configuration, Apache configuration. Um, I only found this somewhere, but it does do the work. I'm not sure, but maybe we can just run this to make sure that everything works fine um, while we go through this installation. So let's just run this. I believe it will replace the none to all in the configuration file, but since when I use this, it doesn't break my any any website that I use. It enables the HTTP access, HT access. I'm sorry for that, HT access in the main configuration. So that's the I believe this is how it works. And then this is to restart HTTPD to apply these changes. So let's go ahead and restart Apache. HTTPD is another term for Apache. The old versions, I believe, the old Apache, or maybe other distribution of Linux uses Apache, but in CentOS, they use CentOS 7. We use HTTPD. So the next part is to install MariaDB and its packages. So the first thing is to create a file in this location using nano. So if this file here is not yet present in your directory, it will automatically create the file when you open it with nano. And then just paste that command and then press enter in your keyboard. In my case, it's already there. So what you would do if it's empty on your end, just copy this details here. I'll probably make this thing here. Do not add line or do not include include the line. So I'll just add this in the description, don't worry. So just copy this format and paste it in your paste from your clipboard in this file using nano, and just save it. So once that's done, we can now install MariaDB with the latest version using this command. Make sure to use the capital MariaDB and the DB here, because if you use the small the lower case, I believe it's probably not going to work. I'm not sure, but Let's just do this. So now it's complete. We can now proceed to installing the common packages. By the way, guys, you can actually install along with the MariaDB its packages here. And I just showed you the MariaDB only, but if you want to include the most common packages, you can use this command here. But I'll create another note here because I want to delete the MariaDB server because we already run it earlier. So I'll paste it here for the common packages only and run it to install. So once that's done, let's try to let's go ahead and start MariaDB and enable and then check the status. So it's running. So let's try to upgrade using this command here. So the installation of MariaDB is already upgraded. So it's already upgraded, so it should be good to go. So let's check the version to confirm. So although they already said here it's already 10.6. So let's check the version to confirm. So the distribution is MySQL version 15.1 and MariaDB is 10.6. So WordPress, when we install WordPress, it should not prompt you with an old database notification compared to using the basic low-case MariaDB installation, which is only 5 point something. So if you use my method of installation, this method, it should install the upgraded MariaDB, which is better. So the next part is to secure our MariaDB with this command. So just copy this command and paste it up, enter, and just enter a blank password here, enter, because we haven't yet set up MySQL or MariaDB root user password. Enable Unix socket authentication. I want to select no for this for now. And then set root password. So do you want to set a root password for your MariaDB root user? Of course you want to. New password. So let's add a new password here. Hopefully you don't forget your password, guys. So make sure to save it on a note. Remove anonymous user. Yes. Yes. Remove test database. Yes. Reload. Yes. So thanks for using MariaDB. So our MariaDB has been secured, but we need to first tell our server to, or MariaDB to apply the changes. To do that, we need to reload MariaDB via this command, service MariaDB restart. So hopefully clear the screen. Hopefully we will be asked for a password when we log in to our MySQL console. So let's try that one. So this is actually the what do you call this? The login command without a password. So if you have not set up a password, This is the command. It should log you in right away if you don't have a password. But since we have set up a password which is very recommended, then MySQL console will deny us. So we need to add our password. So how do we run a command to prompt us with our password? That is this command. So instead of MySQL only, just add -u, which is I believe user, and then this is the password. Maybe we can add the password here. I believe we can add the password, or actually no, just enter and it will prompt us to enter a password, which is, let's try to enter it. And as you can see, we can now log into the console of our MariaDB or MySQL database manager. So this is the database manager. This is actually, if you're familiar with cPanel, this is the SSH version of the I believe PHP MyAdmin. And don't worry, by the way, this is where you manage it via SSH, but I will also show you by the end of this video series how to install PHP MyAdmin. So if you don't want to manage your database via this console, you still have my PHP MyAdmin to do that. So as you can see, guys, so that here we can create users database and grant all privileges when we are creating sites. And this is a version of there's a wizard, by the way, if you're familiar with cPanel hosting. When you create a database, there is a you can search in your cPanel hosting. There's a wizard there, database wizard, or simply the databases. You can create users there and then database and grant all privileges and connect the database and the user. Later on, I will show you how you can do that within this console when we install WordPress. So for now, let's exit here and then clear the screen and move forward to installing PHP and its packages. So let's move forward to the next step, guys, which is of course installing the PHP. So here we need to first install this packages from Linux and Tools, the REMI. I believe this REMI, there's a there's an option for this to change, or maybe to make it simple, we install this to have a working way to switch PHP or install multiple PHP versions at once, I believe. So let's probably just do that. Run, and then this is installing PHP and the modules or extensions that are required for WordPress. This skip broken is, I just add this in case technologies do depreciate So in case the other commands are not working anymore, but don't worry, I will still upgrade. I will the the description below. I'll just update it from time to time, so it should work. But for to be safe, I add this command to script anything that is not working. So next, I believe we're done with the installation of the packages. So we're now ready for this to select the this version of PHP. So it might be different for you. So just select whatever WordPress required um, in by the time you're watching this video. So let's try to update if we need to, if there's any needed to update the OS. So it's done. So let's restart Apache and MariaDB to make sure the changes applies to them as well. And then let's see the status if there's anything broken or if it did break some applications here. Oops, no. MariaDB is active, I believe, and also Apache, so we're good to go. So let's proceed on checking the version of our PHP. So as you can see, it's 7.4. So next part is now the, the next part is to prepare the WordPress database. So this is the part where we create our database for WordPress. So let's go ahead and clear the screen first and log into our database, MariaDB console. So this is where we do that. So the command to create database is this: create database and um your database name, and then semicolon. So this is you can name it whatever you want. I'll just add this name here, or maybe yeah, that's it. And then just hit enter. And now hopefully if we run the show databases, this command, it should show that we've created the database name. So the next thing is to create our user. Create user. Let me check my cheat sheet here. So this is let me just paste it instead so that it will save me time here. So as you can see, this is the command to create a user. So you can use any other. You just rename here for whatever database user you want, and then just leave this as is. And this is the password. So just change it with the password you want, and um, press enter, and it should be created already. The next part is to grant all privileges to our database. This is the way, if you're familiar with cPanel, this is how you grant privileges. and connect the database to the user. So grant all privileges on the database name that we've created earlier, and this is a wildcard. And here is the database username that you've created here. So this is the way we grant privileges on and then connect. So that's it. So the next thing is to flash privileges. And by the way, guys, this is actually optional. I showed you the manual, the way to create a database user and grant privileges and connect, and as well connecting the database to the user. That is the command. There's actually one command or one line of commands to do all this too. So this is how you do that here. But I just showed you this so that in case you want to create another user, you know, at least you know how to create a user. Instead of just this, there's no way you will know how to create a user. That's why I showed you. So yeah, so the next thing is to, I think I did not add this here. Apply changes. So now we can exit the database or MariaDB console. Let's clear the screen. And the next is to download WordPress. So this is the section where we prepare the WordPress files. So let's go ahead and download with this command cd. So this cd is to bring you to the home directory of the server and be downloaded from there. This is the link to the WordPress installation files. It's a tar extension file, and this is the wget tool that we've installed in the first section of installing LAMP. So do that, and it should now download this file here into our server. So to check that, just run ls, and as you can see, it downloaded here. So the next part is to extract that with this command, tar command, and I believe this is the way to add what do you call that, permission to the file. So just do that, and it should already, if you run ls to check the files, so as you can see, we now have the WordPress files here. It is a folder, and if you go through the folder, if you check the folder, inside the folder, so this is the files inside the folder, which is the usual WordPress installation files, and the files that we use for WordPress. And now, since we don't need this anymore, then we remove it. It's clear command, and now we need to move the WordPress files. Let's move all the files into this directory. This directory, the location, this is the directory of our website file. This is the main directory. If you're familiar with cPanel, this is the public underscore HTML. So let's hit that and set permission for website directory. So just copy all of this, guys, and this is to set the permission of our directory. So chown is to set the permission to this user, which is Apache, and then this all this these two commands here. This is to set the directory to 755 permission and the files to 644. So 755 for the directories and 644 for the files is the required permission to run WordPress files. So that's actually mentioned in the WordPress community. I believe in their documentation. You just try to search them if you have time. So just in case this don't work, guys, try this. But I assure you this should work because I've already done this many times. And now let's go ahead and restart the Apache. So the next is installing WordPress. So this is the part where we install WordPress. So we want to first temporarily disable the the SE Linux. This is, I believe, a firewall. So let's go ahead and do that. It will make sure that you can write files from the you can write the it will fix actually the error in regards to writing wp-config. So that's why we need to do that. Once you reboot your server, it will automatically be enabled. So don't worry if you're concerned with disabling SE Linux, then that this should work. So next is to I believe restart Apache. So to apply changes, and then let's go and navigate to our website using our IP. Excuse me. So as you can see, we're now ready to install WordPress. So select whatever language you want. I'll just select English. And now we need to add all the 1, 2, 3 details that we've created earlier. Hopefully you have noted your database name, database username, and password. So let's go. And my database name is this, and my username is this, and my password is this. So this should be as is. So just submit and run. So again, guys, if you encountered an error that is showing that you're you're unable to write with the wp-config, maybe you need to do this. You need to run this. Maybe you have missed this and restart Apache. So that should do the job. So run installation, and now we are ready to run our installation. So this will be the one that this is the domain that I want to use it. So this is the one that I'll use as my site title. And screen and same confirm password. Email discourage. So I'll just select this because this is just a tutorial or a demo site. So I'll just set this as discouraged. But if you're installing WordPress as a production site, then you probably should not select this one. But don't worry, if you want to learn more about setting up WordPress site for production purposes, just check out my tutorial on the on my YouTube channel. Search for WordPress. Probably I don't have actually a tutorial for that um, at the moment, but sure I would be mentioning WordPress later on within my free course because I'll be sharing with you all the how you can make money with WordPress websites. So in case you're watching this after a few months, then probably I already have those kind of tutorials. So check it out. Admin. So as you can see, guys, we now have an installation of WordPress website. So this is so if you're concerned with this IP here, guys, don't worry. I will show you later on how you can point your domain with your website and also redirect this IP here to your domain. So don't worry about that. So the next part is, of course, to go here. Maybe we'll just follow along with the documentation that I created to make sure we don't miss anything here. So troubleshooting, so let's go to the troubleshooting part. So required to install module. So by the way, guys, so in case you get this type of error, so let's say you've gone through the IP of your WordPress installation. So in case you're staying with the Apache welcome page, which is something like a testing 123 page. So, and you're not redirected to the WordPress installation. Probably you've missed to install the PHP modules or extensions that WordPress requires. So I would suggest you go back to the PHP packages section that we've done here and install this one. So maybe you have missed a few other PHP modules here. So try to reinstall this and it should do the trick. Okay, so then let's go back here. We're done with that. And just in case as well, if you can't really write within your wp-config file, it doesn't let you do that. I believe there when you are redirected to an error page in regards to that WordPress cannot write to your wp-config file. It will show you a step how you can uh, the workaround. By the way, the workaround is to add all these details into your WP config manually. So to do that, you can go ahead and do that by this option 2, which is let me see here, which is just follow this command here, which is to cd or go to your, what do you call this, your WordPress directory, and then copy your wp-config sample file, and then copy it with the wp-config file, and then edit with nano tool. And once you're there, just scroll to all this scroll the line where you can replace the database name, database user, and database password. So yeah, that's how you can do that. And actually, maybe I'll just show you instead. So what you would do is to go to here, go to the directory of your WordPress. It might be different um, on your end, but this is mine. So let's ls here to check the files here. So this is the config sample file php, the wp config sample. So when you haven't yet installed WordPress, you will not have this wp config file. So maybe I'll try to remove this, or maybe move this into a backup. I'll remove this as a backup. .php back. So now I don't have the wp-config file because I've renamed it. So let's go to our what do you call this, IP, and just continue on. And here, so when you hit this one, if you encounter an error that you cannot write um, with your wp-config file, then what you want to do is to create your own wp-config file and add the necessary details. So to do that, just copy this command here, this one. Let's try to clear this screen. Copy this, and you will be redirected to edit your wp-config file that you have made for yourself, copied from the sample. So just edit all this here. Edit this with the right credentials that you've created for the database. This one. And once you've done that, maybe I'll just edit it. So mine is DBA name, right? If you can remember. And just scroll using your arrow key, guys. DBA user. Password is admin. And after that, go ahead and also um, let's also get this salt here. Let's get the salt, the unique phrase here. So let's go to your browser, open up a new browser, and paste the link that WordPress provided. So copy this, and then let's replace the current one without the unique phrase. This is actually a security method that WordPress um, has. So I can't really explain this to you right now, but let's probably just do this. Paste it, right click, and then Once you're done, let's go ahead and just ctrl-x y and enter to save the file. So now we have config files, and then you can now proceed on. It redirected me to my website because I already created earlier. Usually it should you should be going through the the installation of your I mean the setting up of your site title, password, and so. But probably since I've already set that up earlier, then that's probably why I didn't go through it anymore. So for you, you should be able to go through the log and then log in. So once you're logged in, go through this here, permalinks, and also general, and also site title. I mean site help. So let's set up our permalink with post name. And once you've saved this permalink, it should automatically create an htaccess file into your website directory. So let's move to the site help and let's see any modules that are missing. So we already have installed this. So let's say if you have if you see here modules. So this is PHP modules, I believe. So what you would need to do is to install. Let's clear command here and go to our home directory. So what you would want to do if there's any missing or required module, this is optional though, so you don't really need this. And we've already installed this earlier, but I'm not sure why it's still showing here, but maybe we need to, what you would need to do is to, if there's a required here, just run yum install and add php dash and this the module name, and again php dash the module name that is showing here, and also what do you call this, so whatever required modules that you can see here, optional module is not installed, so that's just do that, and then add also dash y, and then dash dash skip broken, so that in case if there's any issue, then it would install the ones that are not that doesn't have conflict. But just so you know, guys, we've already installed this earlier, but maybe there's an update or so, so that's why we need to run this once again. I'm not sure why it didn't work out earlier, but although it's showing complete earlier when we installed these modules, but that's why we need to check WordPress if they detected anything, any error or any required modules that are that we need to install or reinstall. So that's why we need to check the site help here. So once we've done that, let's go ahead and probably restart Apache and refresh WordPress. So now as you can see, there's no the required modules are now has now disappeared. So yeah, that's how you can do that, guys. And the next part is to um, exit that one, and let's replace this to our domain name. So I would suggest, guys, to always add www when you're creating a site. The reason for that is most of the, let's say for example, Cloudflare, you will get a limit when you use your root domain. You will you will encounter a limit. There's a limit for that. But if you go through the www or the CNAME record, you won't have uh, a limit. That's why it's recommended to always use www. And most of the other services, I believe they always do that. They limit the A record and the CNAME is fine. So just always add www when you're installing a site. So next, let's just what do you call this? Let's disregard first the HTTP so that our site would still work. We will be installing auto SSL later on once we've done all the other things that we need to get done first. So the next, save that. And now WordPress needs us to um, log in again because we have changed our, oops, probably wrong. So it asks us to re-log in because we've changed the URL of our site from the IP to the domain. So as you can see, from the domain we now have we're now using our domain name. So by the way, guys, if you encounter I believe I haven't yet told you how you can point the DNS of your domain. So sorry for that. Before you actually change the general here, um, this to your domain, make sure to go to your DNS hosting provider or your domain registrar. For this tutorial, I will use Freenom. If you're not familiar with Freenom, go to my channel and search for Freenom. It's a free domain registrar. They offer free domains, so you can use them to test your site. If you want to follow along with me in this tutorial, so you can do that. It should work with also Namecheap or any other registrar. It should be the same thing. Just the platform, it's different, but how you add the record should be the same. So when you log into your Freenom account, go to My Domains, and select whatever domain that you have, or if you want, you can register a new domain. And once again, I do have a tutorial for this. Check it out if you want. And I want to select this domain, so just manage domain here. And make sure the name servers is using default Freenom name server so that I can use the DNS. And yeah, get your IP, your elastic IP, and point it to the target and add more records. Add www and then CNAME and then the domain and save. So that should be how you can point your IP to your domain so that you can use the domain to your WordPress. And once that's done, then you're now free to replace the IP here to your www domain. It might take some time. It might probably show an error here because it might need to propagate first. So to check the propagation process, just go here, go to this website and check your domain name here if if it's already pointing to the right IP. So just select this A record here, search. So as you can see, it's now pointing. So once you can see it's now pointing to the right IP, then it should work. Sometimes if you're there's sometimes it doesn't point, as you can see here in China. So let's say, for example, if you're in China and the right IP is not pointing there, you might get an error. So um, you can pro you if you want to already work on your website right away, you can try to use a VPN and go to another location that the IP is already pointing right. So for example, go to Singapore instead of China. If you're in China, since the IP is not pointing in China, it's still not propagated properly. It's not the IP is not pointing right. So go to Singapore with your VPN and it should work from that IP, from that location because it has already propagated there the right IP that we've pointed. So yeah, just in case you want to, if you're in a hurry of working on your website, but if you're not, then you can just wait until it's already propagated properly to all the locations. So yeah, that's how you can do that. So once again, you can then log into your site with your what do you call this, with your domain. It should work, but let's try to browse your IP and it did not redirect it to your domain. So there's a workaround for that. I will show you later on. So let's first proceed to the next step of our tutorial here. So let's go ahead and check out our cheat sheet. So let's see here. Where are we already? So we're now actually in the point domain name to your website. So here is where we need to set up our virtual host configuration file. So to do that, so actually guys, also this is also necessary for us to enable let's encrypt SSL, meaning to set up the auto SSL that I've mentioned earlier, because we need the virtual host file to make our site or our domain or whatever this is, whatever it is, it should be called. Um, this is this is the way to make our website listen to port 80 or to 80 port. So to do that, we need to create a virtual host file, which I've created a name template for this. And it is important as well, guys, to make sure to add your domain name. So this is the template for the naming, and this is the template of our of the content of that virtual host file. So I would assume that you don't have already a template, so you can actually search for any template that should work. It depends, but this I've tested this. I've already created one for this tutorial, which it's already been tested and proven to work. I've tested this for 5 sites early on before I recorded this video. So this is how we do that. So to create, just run this command here. Probably you want to first, of course, create another um, let's first create let's first change this domain.com to your domain before we run this. So let's do that within our notepad, or you can simply use the replace tool within the notepad plus plus and just do this and replace all with your domain. So yeah, that's how. And then copy this and let's run this within your terminal. So let's go ahead and run this. Let's clear the screen first. Run this. And enter. And now you should be, or you are now inside the file of your domain, your virtual host file for this domain. It might be different for you. So this is my domain. So now the next part is to copy this here. Do not include this line. So just copy this, guys, from the important, because there's an important note there so that you don't forget that one in case you're replicating this later on. So just right click, and it should copy the content in your clipboard. So just scroll up. So this I would suggest you don't erase this note because this is a note here. So just change domain.com to your website domain, and this location, this website directory, to your related website. So since we're using this for this tutorial, we don't need to actually change this. But in case you're creating multiple domains, so this might be different for you. So what I would suggest is to if just change this with whatever the directory of your site, and the domain.com to your domain. So let's go ahead and do that. And by the way, to make this simpler for us, maybe we want to exit first and don't save this. CTRL-X and select no, and let's check the files inside the config folder ls, and we already have a file here, right? We've already created this file with our domain, the config file. And let's go inside the file once again by doing nano. So there's an empty file. We have not saved that because I want you to edit this within the notepad here, the notepad plus plus, because it's easier to change the files from here. I mean the content from here, because we can just replace it. So to do that, let's go ahead and just ctrl-F and then select the replace here, and domain.com, which is, as you can see here, change the domain.com to your website domain. So the domain, my website domain is mawix.tk, so it should replace everything here, right? And then the next is this. Copy this one, this directory, and replace it with the directory of your site, just in case you're not using this. If you're using this, or you're following along with my tutorial right now, and this is your first site for the lump tutorial or for the lump method, then it should be the same thing. So you don't need to actually replace that. So we now need to close this. We can now close that one, and let's proceed on the other things, which is the server admin. So the server admin is your email. So you want to actually change that to your domain.com. So you probably want to change this to your domain or to your email. You can use Gmail or whatever email that is working for you. You can use that one. So this is an email that will receive a notification from your server if there's an error or anything. You can use that one. I'll probably just change this. For the server domain, just add your any email address that you want to receive a notification for, and then the domain, yes, and then the www, and save that. Oops, sorry. Um, the document root, of course, we already have replaced that with the replace and find, but make sure to check all of this, and here as well, and this. So by the way, guys, this is the method to redirect your IP to your domain. So how this works, this code here, the commands here, the code is if not equal to your domain. So whatever if they are pointing to the IP, it will redirect to your domain. So that's how this command works. So again, so this is then the log files location. So error log will be added to this file in your website directory. So whatever, if you encountered an error, you will see here. Just use nano or cat tool to check the error, and the access log file you can see here as well. It will be created right there once we've saved this. So yeah, so that's how this is the template. And if you want to create another domain or to host another domain in your server, in this lab server, then you can just recreate or copy the same configuration file and replace it with the new domain. So yeah, that's how you can do that. And of course, make sure as well to rename the configuration file with the second with the increment number here, because it's also very important, because the host the base directory, which is this, it will be pointed, the content of that will be pointed to the first domain the first configuration file. So let's say if you don't add this renaming or this renaming template, if you only add your domain name, it will be pointed, this will be pointed to the by alphabetical order. So let's say if you have a domain that is named A, so or the first letter is A and the second one is B and the second one is C, it will be pointed right away to the A or whatever alphabet it's alphabetical letter. So if you want this site or the site here to be pointed to the domain that is actually the right one, you need to add the domain that you want to host here to the first configuration file. So yeah, that's why I'm sorry if I'm not explaining it right. I can't explain it properly, but if you want to learn more about that, if you're confused with that, just hit me a comment or maybe create a thread in the community. I will try to answer you properly and in more detail in regards to this issue, but you will probably encounter this later on. Then, if you don't, then you can proceed or you can go on with your website hosting. But if you encounter this later on, I'll try my best to help you out. So yeah, where are we? Where are we already here? So yeah, the next thing is, of course, once we're done, you've already what do you call this? You've already saved this. So just you've already checked this with the right directories and the right domain. Then we can now copy this and paste it into our file, to the configuration file within our SSH console. So, oops, sorry, this is not the right one to copy. So we need to select all, copy, and then paste it within our configuration file and save it. So excuse me. So it should already been saved. So the next thing is to restart Apache. Excuse me. So that's it. So let's go back to our home directory, clear the command. So that should be it for setting up your virtual host. And now let's go here, let's proceed. So we've already restarted our Apache, that's all good. And the next part, troubleshooting. So by the way guys, in case you didn't if you have followed all this template here, you probably won't get any error. So in case you get an issue with restarting your Apache server, you get an issue with uh, you let's say there's an error like a job something error, um, um, or simply you can't restart your Apache. So what you want to do is to copy this line here, copy this code and run this. Okay, so when you run that, it will show you directories or directory locations that you will need to create. So just copy that one, which will show here supposedly, because mine is not, I don't have any errors here. But usually if you're having an error with not restarting the Apache after creating your virtual host file, usually this is the error. You will need to create the directory that you've created or change here. So to make sure what directories you need to create, just run this command, the one that I showed you, this one. Run this and it should show here. And just copy that and paste it here. And oops, sorry. This is the command to create a directory. Make dir.p and then paste the directory location that is showing here, and run it there, and it should be good to go. So for example, if they're showing here, let's say var www.html, because you've created your domain here, okay? Or maybe your file, your directory you created, you did not host here, and you've created something like this or whatever, it's not here. So you need to create this directory. You need to make sure that these directories here are present, so you don't get the error of restarting Apache. And once you've done that, let's say copy this command here. So this is the command to create those directories, and just run this in your console, and it should do the trick. Okay, so once you've done that, reload once again Apache by this command, and it should work. If it doesn't work, then of course create a thread in the community so that I can assist you on that one. And make sure to add a screenshot of the error. So the next part is, of course, yeah, I believe that's it. So that should be it. And so now let's go ahead and check the what do you call this, the result of creating a virtual host. So the result is to the first one we want is to redirect the IP to our domain. So let's refresh that. So as you can see, it's already been um, redirected to our domain. So that's now fixed. And the next part is to add an SSL. So to make sure to add an SSL. So once again, I mentioned earlier here in the note, where is that? We need this virtual host file, virtual host configuration file, because it is required to run the tool that we will be using to install Let's Encrypt SSL for our domain. So to use HTTPS, we need um, the tool that we will use needs us that our domain or website listens to port 80. So we cannot do that. It won't work. The tool that we will use to run SSL, it won't work if you don't create this virtual host. Okay, so that's why we need that. So to add this, what do you call that? Where are we now? So this is where we install Let's Encrypt SSL to Apache server. Excuse me. So first we need to run this command here. So these are important Linux packages and the other tools we need to run or to generate SSL. So just copy that and run. So it might take some time. I'll just post this. So it has now completed the install. The next thing is to enable it. So we are installing, by the way, earlier, we are using Snap with Surfbot, guys. So let's just do that. And the next is to run this command. I am actually using the root user, but in case you're using sudo user, you need to be to use root to run this command. That's why I added this command here to make sure that you're running as root. So next, you need to reboot our server. To apply the changes. And let's just wait until it rebooted. So you can see it here. By the way, if you want to actually change your or if you want to log in as root, actually, I do have a tutorial for that in my free course. If you go to my channel, my homepage, there's a free course there with Make Money Online with Websites. I share here all the steps, every step, how I did everything, how I set up my websites with cPanel and the provider I use, everything, the settings that I use in my server. I have here all those things. I believe this one, and or maybe the next part of this tutorial, the video, I will show here how you can log in as root instead of a sudo user as well. So I try to check it out. So if in case you want to log in as root, or maybe change your username instead of the default AWS CentOS, if you want to change it with your own username, custom username of your own, then you can check out this tutorial here to create another sudo user. And the next ones, I do have a plan for this free course here. I also be mentioning how you can create or you can log in as root from a sudo user. So if you're only given a sudo user like the providers, AWS and other premium hosting cloud servers, cloud hosting providers, then they usually provide you only with sudo, or if they already have provided you with root, then that's fine. But in here, the Google Cloud, I believe, and Oracle and AWS, they provide you with sudo user only, and you will have to log in as root. So if you want to log in as root, then I will be uploading more videos for that related to it, and just check out my channel in case you're watching um, in the next few days or months, and I should probably have uploaded all those information here. So I believe we've already completed the reboot. So now we can log into the terminal once again and proceed on our snap install. So let's go ahead and proceed on this command here. Oops, so as you can see, I am logged in as CentOS, so I want to log in as root. Or you can actually just use sudo, but I don't want to, then I just want to use the root user. Paste it up, downloading the core from the stable version. Let's wait for it to finish. So it might take a few minutes. So, oh, it's now finished. So let's go and proceed with the setup, the install of the certbot. So certbot now has been installed. So let's go ahead and generate. We can now generate our let's encrypt SSL, auto SSL. So here's the command to generate Apache SSL for your domain name. But we want to generate for also for our www. So this is the command that we want to use. So it's just probably this. It's just the same though. You just need to add this command here, the dash d once again. You just need to duplicate that with the and the domain that you want with the subdomain. So I believe it works with other domains, specifying them using the command specified is the base domain. So I believe it will only work with the same base domain. So this generates multiple domains. It's not actually different domain, it's just subdomains. So if you want to generate multiple subdomains along with the root domain, then you can do this. You can generate that one. But if you want to generate with a different a different base domain, then you want to rerun with a different um, base domain. So let's copy this command here and create another oops, sorry, create this other paste the command here so that we can replace that with our own domain. So just replace this. So copy this and run this. So once again, if you have two domains, you need to rerun this with a different domain. You can only run once. You can only run one line command for the same base domain. It's only multiple domains for the as for the subdomains. But if you want to run different base domains, I believe you need to rerun, or it's a different type. I mean, it's a different batch of running the certbot command for generating multiple domains. So run that to generate SSL for the root domain and the www. So certbot is asking for us to add our email address. You should add your email address because it will notify you in regards to any security notices the renewal as well, but don't worry about the renewal though. They will automatically renew it for you. And accept the term, of course, yes. You want to add why. And would you be willing once your first certificate is successfully issued to share your email address with the Electronic Frontier Foundation? No, I don't want to. So account registered. Oops. So guys, I found the issue here. We need to probably when we started this installation, I showed you earlier that we need to disable this SE Linux. So probably we need to um, disable this what do you call this permanently for while we're installing things, all of the things that we install, and then just enable it once we're done, because it really does so what I would suggest is for you to run this to temporarily just disable it and then just enable it later on, so we don't get any issues while you are installing the lump stock and many other packages for your site. And if you don't usually this is just these are the issues when you get restart issue with Apache. So this to create the directory that are missing, and SE Linux. This is to temporarily disable it. This is what I did. But when you start, if in case you're just starting out, or maybe you want to create another lump stock, probably it's good to disable it completely while you're installing or setting up your lump stock, so you don't get issues like me in the while you're working on your lump stock. So now I've run this, and now Apache was able to restart. So let's go ahead and rerun the serpbot command to generate the SSL for the root domain in the www subdomain. Now it should work by now. Excuse me. So as you can see, it now successfully enabled HTTP and successfully installed the SSL. It created this files here in our config folder. So as you can see, deployed certificate. So they have created this based on our config file. That's why, guys, I mentioned earlier, it's really important to add the domain name, your domain name for your virtual host config file. So they just probably find the domain name and then recreate that. Based on that, they will redirect that to the SSL config file. So as you can see here. So yeah, they also highlighted here that they have they added rewrite rules in your configuration file. I'm not sure if it's in the base configuration file or it's in the SSL. So probably let's try to check it out instead. So let's check it out here in the config file that we created earlier. Oops, sorry. Let's check it out, because if you remember, we've created a rewrite rule to redirect the IP. So let's make sure that it doesn't conflict. So here, as you can see, they've created a um, rewrite rule, additional rewrite rule. So this is the rewrite rule that they created, and I believe they did not added the rewrite engine on because it should be conflict if they did. So I believe this should be all good. I might I might probably change the the template to add it here instead, so that the redirect they will add will be redirect here, SSL redirect, so that they will just add it here. So I will just add it here. I will add it here so that they will just add it here, and it will be easy for us to know these commands are for this SSL cert bot SSL redirect rules. So let me check here. Custom. So this will be so since SERPbot will automatically add a redirect rules into our config file. So I have changed the format of our virtual host file so that they will add it here, and there's already a note for us to determine if that's the command for whatever that command they will add here. So yeah, it's good to be organized. So that's it, and now we can proceed. Let's make sure first, by the way, to if it works. So let's see here. So SERPbot already told us that we are now ready to use our SSL. So hopefully this works. So let's hit enter, or let's refresh this. So yes, it worked. It did it. It did not break our site. So as you can see, we're now using SSL. So the next part to do is to, of course, change the URL of our site to HTTP. So that's the next part. I believe it's the last part for this tutorial. So let's go to log into our WordPress, and let's go to the general. And this is the time that we can now add HTTPS because we already have enabled our SSL. So let's go ahead and save that. So once it's saved, WordPress will automatically ask us to log in once again. So as you can see, if we go to let's try to actually copy your domain. So let's copy that, paste it without the, let's try to add HTTP only to make sure that it redirects to the right URL. So let's do that, and let's see if it did. So as you can see, it did redirected to HTTPS and the www, which we have set up here. So that should be it. So let's go back, by the way, to our what do you call this, the tools and site help, because there's another one that I did encountered lately about the upload issue here. So I believe there's no issue anymore in regards to that. But in case you encounter something, there's an error here in regards to FTP error. What you want to do in regards to that, just try to you just need to add a single line of code from, let me check here. So here, if WordPress requires so it's here in this troubleshooting. So in case your site health, there's a critical error here, critical improvements you need to add, and there's an error, or there's a note that you need to fix the FTP, something like that. You just need to add this line of code here into your wp-config. So to do that, copy this code and go to your wp-config. So let's save this first. Clear the console. Let's go to our website directory, www.html, and I believe this is the one. So let's edit our wp-config file. So after that, let's scroll down to the where you can find this wp debug, and just add it here. Add it there, and it should be good to go. So that should fix the issue. So you need to just save this and restart to make sure it applies. Restart Apache. So http restart. So when you do that, and then just refresh, and it should remove the note here. So that's just in case, but if it's not, then we can, since it's not showing on my end, then I'll just remove that, or maybe uncomment it to disable. So I'll just uncomment that one to disable. So yeah, I believe that's it for this tutorial. So the next, I'll probably create another video for the things I've missed. So if you think I've missed something, just comment down below. And I did search for another things that we might need to proceed on working, but I'll probably just do that in another video. It's how you can send emails from your WordPress site or any website, and also how to receive emails. So yeah, we will and also how to manage that in Gmail. So I'll let you know about it in another video. So once again, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.